Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to go over my reading wrap-up spreads from 2024 and how I set up some of my reading spreads for 2025. So in my bullet journal for last year, I created a couple of spreads, literally like two. And the first one was the books I read spread, and the other side are my 2024 reading stats. So throughout the year, I'd been filling out the books I read, when I read them, the author, and my rating. I bought these star stickers from Amazon. I'll link them below. They're from a small business, and I just pasted them in. And for each book, I just stuck in a sticker and put in my rating. I don't have a complicated rating system or anything. It's just based off vibes. So that's pretty much what I did. And since I had two more books to add for the end of the year, I just needed to go ahead and put those in. So the first book, Birding with Benefits, I gave 3 stars. It was okay. And then the second book, I gave 4 stars, which was Martyr. I actually went to a book signing in Santa Cruz and had a chance to hear the author speak and meet him, so that was pretty cool. And I don't think I mentioned this in my other videos, but I actually started this journal that I'm using for 2025 with my October, November, and December spreads of 2024 because I ran out of pages, but it didn't really make sense to just have one journal for 3 months. So I just put them here and then carried on with the new year. So since I read a couple of these books in November and December, these 2 months I combined just because I know I don't end up writing a ton or making a ton of lists. So I just put everything together. I needed to paste in the books, and this is something I started doing in like September, October of 2024. Before that, I never created a monthly or a quarterly spread about books I read, but I thought it'd be fun. I definitely like all the book covers when people print them out and put them together. It looks really cool. It looks like a little bookshelf. So I wanted to do it for myself too. Originally, I started doing this as on a monthly basis, but then I realized realistically, I don't read a ton month to month, so quarterly would be better, and that's what I started doing in 2025, which is what you've seen in my other videos. So just going ahead and pasting those in and also putting my ratings here. I'm actually almost done with those rating stickers. I have like, I think 5 left. And since I still have a bunch of label paper that is sticky, so there's sticky labels, I'm probably just gonna make some for myself so I can continue to use them. Also, I like that I had chosen yellow for the stars. It looks really nice with the book cover. And that's pretty much it, because I only read one book in November and December, which is why I went to the quarter format. And so I had more stuff to cut out for my reading stats and for 2025. So I pulled out this paper cutter that I had bought off of Amazon. I didn't realize it was going to be this small. I thought it was going to be a little larger or the same size as an A5 notebook. I did actually read the dimensions. I don't think I read it carefully. And I've also concluded that I hate this cutter. This paper cutter is awful. I printed these on just regular printer paper, so they're not that thick, and it still is not capable of cutting them. Look. I don't know why it was so rough, and it pushes the paper to the side, so it's hard to keep it straight, and it wrinkles the paper a lot. And then if I use it on anything thicker, it totally cannot handle it. I don't know what kind of blade they have on here, but it's not very sharp or sturdy. It couldn't even cut through this book cover properly. So you'll see it just wrinkles it, which is really annoying. So then I just brought out my scissors. I know it'll be a little crooked because I cannot cut straight, but it was much easier. And I printed a bunch of these on just random printer paper I have at home. I've been trying to print it on scratch paper, stuff that we printed that I just, you don't really need anymore. Just was like a good way to use that up. And so I'm bringing all my cutouts back to last year's journal to fill out the 2024 reading stats. And this is a washi tape from Notebook Therapy from, I think they're Light Academia set. That's the set I have. Or no, I think this is actually from the Lunar Mystery one. I thought they'd be cool to fill out a few of the sections with. I think I underestimated how large these were in comparison to my writing, so they kind of take up more space. So in hindsight, if I had to do this page again, I probably wouldn't use these washi tapes in the way that I did, but you learn. Also, I did get a new paper cutter after this terrible one. I wish I had a chance to return that one from Amazon in time. I missed the window, so now I just have it. Luckily, I managed to find a paper cutter, like a full-sized one that's actually foldable at Joann before they closed, so I was able to get that on sale. So I have something proper again. And then bringing out my trusty alphabet stamps. I always default to these when I don't know what to do and don't feel like writing headings out. I use my purple Tombow marker and use that as the ink for these headings. So I'm stamping them in. This first section is my reading goal, and then the one to the right of it will be my DNF, which is did not finish. I generally try to finish a book if I read it, but because I'm reading some of these like romance, kind of book talky books, they are not all great. Whether it's I just don't like the storyline, I hate the characters, or it's written poorly. I'm not like that critical, but I have to be able to at least read it, or it needs to keep my interest. And so I did actually almost hit my reading goal of 24 books. I read 23. I did not finish 4 books, again, for the reasons that I said. And then I cut out this little chart with my ratings overall for the year. This is a chart that was generated from Storygraph. They do like a little reading wrap-up for 2024 based on the books that you've been tracking. So I just printed that out. Well, actually, I took the screenshot of all my stats, or I saved it. I think you can save it as a PNG or an image file. And then I just changed the colors of the bar graphs to match with my color palette on this page. And I decided to just go with some of the stats that Storygraph had. So like the longest book you read, the shortest book you read, your 5-star read, I think your most read month. So I put those in. I think for 2025, I'd probably format the page a little differently. Maybe print out the stats in a font that I would like, that kind of matches the page more. I also just realized when I was editing this that I gave myself one single page again for my stats spread, which is frustrating because I feel like it was hard for me to figure out what layout to do. So maybe I'll need to put in a tip in or really condense things and make it smaller. So my longest read was The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I actually ended up seeing the movie first on a flight home, and I actually really enjoyed it, so it compelled me to read the book just to see and get more of that backstory. And then the shortest one actually was a novella. I think it was like a Christmas themed romance. They like work in a bookstore and they're frenemies or enemies to lovers, which is alright. It was cute. And then I think this was actually my only 5-star read. I feel like I'm really critical of giving 5 stars to anything. But to me, I think if I'm giving something 5 stars, it's a book like I really enjoyed. It made me think, something I was thinking about after I read it. It's not something I would forget immediately. So yeah, and it wasn't something I could predict it because the author gave us clues and gave us foreshadowing, but it was still surprising in the way that it came out. Like, I wasn't sure exactly which outcome it was going to be. I had a few guesses, and I was still surprised. And I think this is supposed to be a Netflix series. I'm pretty sure it's Netflix, or it could be Hulu. I don't remember now. But it is being made into a show, of course. At least that's what I read after I looked the book up, just to see, because it sounds like it would be made into a show. We'll see if it happens, but it's definitely nice to read it first. And so you can see in May I read a lot. I'm actually kind of surprised because I thought it would be earlier in the spring. But I don't know, sometimes I just get on a roll and I just read back to back. And you'll see that in February, it wasn't my favorite month. I think I gave pretty low ratings to books. I think my highest rating by volume is 3 stars. Like, it was okay, I enjoyed it. Probably wouldn't read it again. I'd maybe not recommend it. But 3 stars is not that bad to me, honestly. And then I had a bunch of these stickers, which are also from the Notebook Therapy Light Academia set. It's from a washi tape. I had just used certain parts of that strip, so I kept it because I knew I wanted to use some of the book stickers here. So I included those. And that's pretty much it for 2024. And then now moving back to my 2025 journal and creating a couple spreads here. So this year I wanted to make my books that I read in 2024 a double page spread. It was really hard to keep everything condensed on that one page and have all the information and the ratings. So this year I'm going with the very classic book covers that people do. I also think it's a smart way to have the title and the author together in a small space without me having to write it. So that's what I'm gonna go with. So I'm going in with this washi tape that has like coffee stains and writing. Again, from this Light Academia set. I heavily used this Light Academia washi tape set from Notebook Therapy. Is perfect for something bookish. So I'm using that to create a border both on the top and the bottom. And with matching the rest of my theme, I wanted to put these corner borders on the top corners. These are from Daiso, and I cut them so I could get more use out of them. I printed out my headers for 2025 and colored some of the letters and numbers in gold with a gold Sakura gel pen, so it kind of matched with the front of the notebook. I thought that'd be fun, and so I'm carrying that over into my book spreads as well, so it matches with the beginning of the year theme. Again, these are not printed on anything fancy. I just have a bunch of label papers like for addresses, and I just printed on there just make sure they were all the size that I needed them to be to fit into my journal and to print within the template. And then I had a few of these book reading theme stickers that I've been saving because this is what I wanted to use it for. I think most of these are from Artimation, and I was really excited to finally get to use them on a page. I also have some of these cozy phrases, sticker sheet from Savannah Scribbles, so I also put that on this spread too. I wasn't sure how I felt about how the spread came out first, because there's a lot happening, but I actually like the way it turned out in the end. And because I think I filmed this in February, I filmed this a while back, I just haven't had a chance to edit it. I'd already read a couple books by the time I set up these pages, so I decided to paste in the first book covers and my star rating as well. And I think I'm going to make each of the stars a different color per book that goes with all the different Tombow colors that I used in the cover. You can see the whole 2025 bullet journal setup on my channel. I'll also link it here so you can take a look, so you can see how this works with the different elements that I used. Then these next two pages are the last of my reading spreads. I don't include a ton just because I know I won't end up filling them out. I always go back and forth on whether I want to start a reading journal, but I know I won't end up using it heavily, so I thought it just made sense to use it in my bullet journal, which is kind of what bullet journals are meant for. You know, you're supposed to have a collection of all of your notes in one place. But I know a lot of people do like single page, double spread reviews of their books, and they love doing that decoration, which I think is really fun. I love watching those videos. I just know I won't have enough time for it. I think kind of just putting it in my journal with the different months just kind of works here. And you'll see later that I start to create a monthly books I read spread, and then I think I'm going to do like little mini reviews that are just like a quarter of a page, because I don't have a ton to say, even though I do. Like, I have thoughts, but I don't know if I have thoughts for like 2 pages, or I don't think the book really warrants that much. I think kind of ironic coming from someone who was an English major, who definitely analyzed a lot of literature. Maybe that's why I don't feel like I want to do that. I just want to read the book, enjoy it for the vibes, or hate it, and maybe leave a little blurb of my initial thoughts. So this page on the left is going to be my 2025 reading stats, and again, if I had thought about this properly, I would have given myself a double spread. But this page will be pretty blank except for a couple stickers, the borders, and the heading, because I won't be filling this in until the end of the year, which will be on the channel eventually, so you'll have to consider subscribing and stick around to see how that gets filled out. And then on the right side, this is going to be my series tracker and anticipated releases. I think next year I would not have this page because I put in a few anticipated releases, but I don't really get the point of tracking them, I think. It was nice to remember a few books, but I usually put them in my Libby to notify me once the book is available at one of the libraries I have a card at, and so usually I get that reminder once it's available, closer to the published date. And then I get added to the queue to get my hold. So it's kind of automated. I don't really have to worry about it. I can just like set it and forget it. And then the series tracker, there are some different series I want to read. Like I do want to read ACOTAR one day. My sister has all the books. I still haven't gotten around to it. And so I wanted to kind of track like which series I wanted to read and which ones. I still have not filled out this section. Maybe I finally will. But yeah, I think it's something I don't really need. So I'd probably just opt for the double page reading stat spread. And that's pretty much it. We'll just do a quick flip through. These are my 2024 pages, and then my couple of spreads that I put in my 2025 journal. So let me know what you think in the comments. What spreads have you put in? What do you find useful? I'd love to hear ideas and get inspiration for what I can do next year. And be sure to like this video and subscribe for more. Thanks. Bye.